Welcome to Aim to the Alpine. I'm Vance, and today I'm just going to do a little video. I just want to go over my kind of elk tactics and elk plan for this upcoming hunting season. As it stands right now, we're 2 weeks out from opening day, so it's kind of down to crunch time and time to have a plan going forward. I've got most of my preseason prep done. I have my bow shooting good, shooting broadheads out to 60, 70 yards, perfect. Tune's good, it's all in time, specs are all good. I got to do checking my third axis and probably shoot a broadhead at about 110 just to make sure it's absolutely dialed. My pack's already loaded, my gear's ready, and everything else is essentially set. My trail cameras are producing, and kind of everything else is ready. So at this point, it's kind of my planning time. I have done my e-scouting, my infield scouting, and I have all my points that I'm going to be hunting. So for elk personally, my base tactic, I guess, would just be day hunting. So I've had the best luck just covering ground. So to start my method, I have multiple spots that I'll go to, and a lot of the time I'll hunt different spots morning and evening depending on the situation. Sometimes I'll go in real deep, spend a whole day in one spot. Very rarely will I do two in a row at the same spot. So my plan is to go in the morning, and then because I'm day hunting, my pack's maybe 18 pounds, so pretty light. I can go, 15, 20K in a day if I need to, depending on the terrain and the actual location I'm hunting. So I found that's the best. I'll go in the morning, I'll go in, I'm trying to get something to bugle, trying to get on some sign. And if I'm not finding what I'm looking for, or I'm not seeing enough sign, or I'm not hearing anything, then I'll go to another spot in the evening, and I'll just kind of rinse and repeat. I'll just keep going. I try really hard not to get hung up on one spot. Like, I don't want to go in somewhere and hunt it for 7 days. In the past, I have done that before being successful, and it's a really kind of vicious cycle you get in. Maybe you're seeing some sign, maybe it's not new as you think, and you can kind of just spiral away all your time, and eventually you kind of get to a point where you haven't had success and your season's half over. So I try to just kind of jump around. I will go back to a spot I had hunted, but not immediately. I'll hunt a spot, maybe 3 days later I'll go back. If I seen good sign, I'll make a pin, make a note, and then I'll go back if that's what I need to do to make my hunt successful. So that's kind of my basic technique, is just to move around, stay mobile, cover lots of ground until I get on a spot. If I'm getting really good sign, like I'm open to sit a wallow or do spot and stalk, try to call in a bull. I'll use all different, anything in my arsenal. I'm out to kill an elk, and I am not out to kill an elk in a specific way. I've shot them in all sorts of ways. I've, like I said, called them in, snuck in, sat a wallow. I've spot and stalked them, done it all. I've called in some, lots of bugles and screaming. Bull I shot 2 years ago, he was bugling, I snuck in to about 40 yards because there was a little crest in the hill. He couldn't see me. I ripped one bugle, raked a tree, and he came in and I shot him at 20 yards. So I've kind of done all different manner of killing elk. And I think that's helped me be successful. Just the simple fact that I don't get stuck in one method or one tactic or one location. Just keep it very mobile and fluid and just kind of try to go with it. And the biggest two, I'm going to say, is time in the field. So that kind of brings us to my hunt plan this year. August 25th, it opens, so I got a week in August. And then in September, I have the first week off and the third week off. So that first week, I'm going to be going after work. I'm going to be, going into work early. I've already got that lined up with my boss. So I'm going to go in early, leave work early, head out in the bush, and try to get on some elk. So early August, I'm going to be going in, and it's going to be a lot of just trying to find an elk, maybe get one to bugle. I've had them be somewhatly aggressive. I know they can be for sure. Myself, I've had typically more timid elk behavior in August. They're kind of just working on getting a bit of a herd together. They're just basically trying to find cows at this point. You're typically not going to have big bulls in herds. You can, again, take it all with a grain of salt. There's no cut and dry rule. This is just generally speaking what I've had the experience of and what's worked for me. So yeah, take it all with a grain of salt. Different tactics for everybody. For me personally, August tends to be a more timid elk encounter that I've had. So they might come in and hang up, bugle a couple times from some distance, but not really commit. So in that aspect, what I found has worked is I will just try to cover the distance without a lot of calls. If they bugle, and a lot of the time, because they're not as aggressive, they're probably closer than you might first think if they're just doing kind of a wimpy locate bugle response. So what I'll do is I'll try to cover some distance, get in. If you can get into that 70 yards and then bugle again, a lot more likelihood that you're going to pull them in. And that's kind of my August, that last week in August there. Once we start rolling into September, they're going to start trying to get some more cows. You likely have a couple cows with them. Might end up being a little more aggressive. And if they don't have cows, they're probably going to want to come in on you and take your cows, is what their methodology is going to be. Or if they have cows, they might want to defend them. Again, might not be a large herd bull at this point. It's hard to say exactly, but typically it's your smaller bulls are going to be the ones that are getting them together. And then you just, before peak rut, your big bulls are when they're going to come in and try to take over the herd and take them from the smaller bulls that all got them together. So that early September, I've had really good luck into having bulls come in. Again, not super aggressive, like maybe not screaming their faces off, but coming in, or at least curious enough, answering some bugles, able to call them in, or move in and get on them. Then that second week of September, I'm going back to work. I'm kind of breaking up my season a little, spread it out. So go to work, again, probably going in early, off work early, out in the bush in the evenings. Kind of starting to ramp up, getting more into that second week. Once that third week hits, that's when I've had the best luck with more aggressive bulls. That's when you're going to be doing a lot more. What I tend to do on elk, and I found has worked good, is I just mimic their behavior and their emotions and their attitude. So if you got a bull who's not super aggressive, not really chuckling, just giving you little squeaks back, then I'll kind of copy that. If I got a bull and he's chuckling, lip balling, being super aggressive, I'll do it back, and I'm trying to cut him off. I'm hoping he's bugling first. If you can get him fired up, he's bugling on his own. You want to cut him off with your bugle and copy his bugle. And I found that has been a real successful way in pissing him off enough to want to pull him in. Then obviously you got, if you can get on some good sign, maybe you got a trail camera out, you just got active elk areas, but not necessarily vocal, then I'm all for it. Like, I think it's a great idea to go in and sit a wallow, maybe sit a wallow midday, depending on your location. Maybe you can hunt a spot in the morning, sit wallow, and then keep hunting in the evening, doing some more calls, trying to get on bulls that way. Lots of options, and I think that's the important takeaway. I got some buddies asking me, hey, how should I kill an elk, or what should I do? My two biggest advice, which really kind of comes down to one, is just time in the field In doing so, having a lot of time in the field, you can then cover a lot of ground. Kind of go hand in hand, and that to me I found has been the most successful. Obviously, you got to go to where the elk are. You got to use tactics that are going to work on the elk in the area that you're in. And that, again, all comes back to time in the field. I just wanted to make a quick little video, kind of explain, what I'm going to be doing, kind of my tactics. If anybody's got questions, shoot them down below. Super pumped, like I said. Just want to make sure everything's dialed. And in doing so mentally, it helps a lot. If you're confident in your stuff, that's huge. Be confident and be prepared. And I like to know if I have a miss on an animal, that it was me, not my bow, or not something I could have done in the preseason. I want all my boxes checked, so if there's a mess up, I at least know it was me. I did everything I could, aside from I didn't execute when the time came, and that's just part of the game. It's bow hunting. It happens. But I think that is why I try so hard and practice so much, and I just try to make sure I kind of got everything covered I can. And yeah, thanks for watching. I know it's kind of a quick one. I just kind of wanted to touch on a bit on my strategies, like I said. So yeah, we're gonna be hitting her hard here in 2 weeks, covering a lot of ground and trying to locate some sign and some bugles. We got a good amount of elk already on camera, so that's pretty good. And they should start moving here a little bit as we get closer to season, once they start getting fired up for rutting. So yeah, if you hit the like, subscribe, that'd be great. Much appreciated. Until next time, take care.